What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about some NIO news we got coming out, and we're also going to be talking about some Tesla. What could drive these stocks up in the next few weeks, maybe months, or, throughout the rest of the year, and we'll kind of give a price prediction there. But first, before we hop into that, we just ask you guys to hit that sub button. We really appreciate all the support you guys have given us so far. And if you are not a sub to this channel, about 80% of you guys watching these videos are not subbed. Hit that sub button, man. It really helps us grow the channel. And without further ado, man, let's give it some razzle dazzle and hop into it. So first, we're going to start talking with NIO, man. So we started off this morning. Yesterday wasn't looking too hot. Started off this morning a little low. I think it was up pre-market. I can't remember. But it did not hesitate, blasting off from the start. We're up to about 58.26 now, about 4% up, a little over 4% up, which is good because I feel like NIO's just been down the last 2-3 days, man. It's just been going downhill. So we're finally kind of getting off that $55 mark and pushing back towards the 60. So I'm kind of hoping it hangs around here and we don't have any other pullback. But there is some news coming out with NIO. I don't know if these are the driving factors, but I feel like they could be huge driving factors for the stock itself. But first, so there was news. I saw this on, I believe it was Twitter this morning, and I had to look into it myself. But NIO, I don't think this is going to happen this year, but they did release a business plan job listing on LinkedIn for a business plan specialist or a business planner of some kind for the US market, which is huge because I know they're trying to push for Europe the second half of 2021. So maybe 2022. I feel like that's still relatively early. Who knows? They've never officially came out and said anything about it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. But this is huge news. This is definitely something that is going to be a big factor for the company because they'll just expand more. They're just going to be releasing the new sedan in 2021. They're trying to push for Europe this year, and then next stop on the bus, man, the United States of America. So hopefully we see something sooner rather than later. With them pushing this out, it gives me hope that it's going to be sooner rather than later. So we'll see. This is all we know about it. This is all we've seen. But they do also have a building in San Jose, California. So they already have a branch, if you want to call it that, here in the States. So that's good. I kind of feel though that the battery as a service will probably be one of their biggest obstacles as a company to come to the States because of the fact that you're just going to have to put those everywhere. If you want to, you can't just put your cars in the States and call it a day because their whole business model, or I don't want to say their whole business model, but a lot of their sales and revenue come from the battery as a service. About 40% of their customers take battery as a service. So I feel like that is such a good service to offer for EV vehicles. So then we don't have to worry about sitting at a parking lot at Walmart trying to charge your Tesla or your Nio or whatever, for a half hour. So I think for them to expand into the States, they kind of have to, I think, just bring all of that all at once. You're not just going to be able to throw up charging station, or, like Tesla does. They have their charging stations. I think it's going to be a little bit more complicated than that. So it'll be interesting to see if they can overcome that. But you got to start somewhere. So I think this is big news for NIO today. And we'll see what happens with it. We also have their March earnings coming up. There's talks of them releasing their quarterly earnings in March. I think NASDAQ had it March 17th, but that's just projected off of previous earnings. So I don't think that's an official date. It's just like a prediction. So looking forward to March. We're already into February, so only a month out. And I'm really excited to see where February takes us for sales as well. But they did release their January numbers, which were huge. Yeah. That was up 4 times from last January. So they released, or they delivered just over 7,200 vehicles in January. So that's huge for them. Constant growth. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to see in a company that you're investing in. But XPeng is right on their heels, man. They delivered just over 6,000 vehicles in January. So that's their 3rd straight month of record deliveries. So it'll be interesting to see if they catch up to NIO, because they're 2 different business plans I feel like Nio's really pushing that battery as a service, but I feel like Nio's kind of more, or not Nio, Xpeng is more pushing towards the Tesla, competition of just a charger, not swapping the batteries out. So we'll see what happens there. They're both great companies. It's just, we'll see what happens. So, but there was also, before we started this recording, I did see a Twitter headline of Kathy Woods of ARK Investing. She came out and she thinks that Nio is going to be the, as she's quote unquote, winner of the day in China. So where she means by that, to me, it sounds like she thinks Nio is going to be the more popular EV vehicle over in China. But Tesla's, according to her in that interview, she said that Tesla is the leader in EV sales over there with their sales. So we'll see what happens there. But I do feel that I kind of hope ARK jumps on that, that'll just push the stock even farther. I really do. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, and hopefully it does. But again, Tesla or Nio pushing that $58 mark. I'm hoping that we see this thing by March. I'm going to say by March, $65. I want to say $65 before we hit their earnings, and then maybe push that $70 mark after earnings. That's where I think I'm going to put this thing in the next month and a half.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Right. So we'll see what happens there. But Tesla, on the other hand, man, this thing has been up the last couple days, and a little bit of pullback today, but yeah,
the last couple of days it was really good though. But we reported, I think it was yesterday, that we had this video of one of their factories in Berlin that Elon put up on his Twitter, showing that it was like the outside, at least, almost completed. So production there is supposed to begin mid this year, according to Tesla's website, and that's really going to help their battery production, because that's a lot what they're going to be doing there, all their battery cells and stuff. And that's as we said before, that's what Elon said is one of the kind of the biggest hurdles in this whole EV stuff is the batteries. So
exactly,
faster they get that.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the faster they get that plant up and running, the faster they can crank out more cars, I would assume.
Right. And that's what this website article was about. Is it says right here in this red circle is production is expected to start in mid 2021. So I think that's a lot faster than what Tesla was expecting, because at the time that did just say 2021. So for them to say mid 2021, it sounds like they're making better time than they expected over on that factory in Berlin. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that.
Yeah. So Tesla, they have multiple just huge price targets, ranging all the way from, the high ones ranging from 900 to 1250. Right. So that's pretty good gains from where we're sitting right now. That'd be all right to get up to 1250.
Right. Especially if you bought in on that pullback, man, on that last pullback that we just had. Like it was down to what, 700?
Yeah, 7 something. It jumped almost like $100, I think, in like a few days.
Yeah, but down to
So ARK Invest actually bought a whole lot more shares yesterday. They bought 2.4 million shares of Tesla yesterday. So that just backs it up that it's a good company to be invested in.
Right. And that is not 2.4 million shares. I fumbled that one. They bought 2.7 million shares, which equaled a boatload of money, essentially.
Yeah.
Especially at $872 a share, and you bought 2.7 million of them. Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. And even the day before that, they bought another 2.7. So it looks like their last sell-off was back in January. Towards the end of January, they sold off a little bit. But man, the amount of money they are dumping into Tesla is unbelievable. But for those that don't know, ARK is basically a really well-known investment company, and they invest into a bunch of stuff. They have all these ETFs and stuff, and Tesla's in a bunch of their ETFs. And for them to put this much skin in the game, man, that kind of gives me a little bit more confidence in Tesla, kind of telling me that's not just a bubble, that a lot of people are reporting that it's more than that. So with ARK putting that much money in there, I'm confident in Tesla. I've always been confident in Tesla. I like the products they're putting out, so I think it's good news for us. But again, looking back at the stock, they had their earnings. the earnings were still good, but it just didn't do anything for the stock. So I'm kind of hoping within the next, I don't know, let's give it the same March deadline, you know, for the Nio stock. We'll put it at the same time. I'm kind of hoping we see this hit that I'm gonna say 925 by March. I would like to see 925, but then again, 5% in one day is like 50, 60 bucks. You know, it
right.
doesn't take much to move this stock.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and this stock likes to jump up like a good amount at a time too, and down.
Right.
So, but
right.
yeah, usually
it goes up
a lot.
Last 2 days we were up 10%. So
right. So we could hit that. We could hit that 920 in no time.
Right. Exactly. So that's what I'm hoping we see. But yeah, that wraps up this video. If you guys like this kind of content, hit that like, share, notification bell. Let us know what you guys think about in the comments. What do you guys think? Where do you guys see Tesla going? Do you see Nio expanding faster than what they think or what we think? What do you guys think? Let us know down below. And again, hit that comment, notification bell, all that good stuff. You guys know what to do. Again, we appreciate it, and we'll see you guys in the next one.